gives for so much room of like a more unique and more interesting team building than you tend to see from well-established teams who you kind of look at and go like, oh yeah, they're running a pencil shot and
Yes.
they have their sword and everything like that. Like,
Yes.
compared to where we get to see things like Zimmy and Dread, so much more like so much
We've
more
had
freeing.
some interesting comps today. We saw an Explode
We
10 combo earlier today, which was,
and that's a
an
devilish
interesting
combo
one.
right there. Like it's just a lot of these combos don't get to see them often, and I think
No,
that getting to shine some light on them
it
is
definitely
amazing.
feels very experimental for a lot of these teams that we get to see, which is exciting. It's fun. It's new. As you mentioned, the Zimmies. We've been seeing a lot of decafs today. We saw an ink brush just absolutely just rock out earlier. It was great.
So I'm really excited to see what we get from these teams here on out, especially getting into our semis here with our going into BO5. So they can't just rely on a little one or two strategies here. We're gonna have to see a lot more explosive, a lot more downtime from silly name here, having to maybe switch up that strategy. Not gonna be able to rely on going hyper offense too much
Uh,
here.
yes, there is a lot at stake here. Uh,
But
Splat Zone's Mako, very, very AoE friendly. A Blaster or a Slosher can just wreak absolute havoc here. Especially along
and
those stacks and along the lower edge below plat.
oh, Havoc is an understatement, especially from what we've seen from silly name so far with that dread. I think more than Havoc might just be cause if they're electing to bring it out once again. But getting into Mega Zones, I really enjoy this map mode.
It's a
Personally,
fun one.
it is fun. I love being just a little rat and going swimming just right up behind on their left side and just causing mayhem, just being like an overwhelming force that they have to come deal
I
with me
like to
and
play a
just
little silly. I like to play a little silly. I just hold forwards on right. If I I'm
it's
like,
so
if I can
fun.
take
Yeah,
this right stack, we can get the zone. If my teammate can hold left stack, we can get the zone. And you get so much control over that if you can hold the left and right stack from basically opening. And but it's going to be, there's a lot of interesting strategies. I've seen really far flanks on openings before. I'm talking like through breakfast into spawn onto the opposition plat and coming from behind. That we'll see that, but
that is surely the
I'm an advocate for chaos, so we'll see. But
we'll definitely see, and I'm really excited to see what Gucci Flip Flops is running so far. I haven't been able to watch any of their sets, unfortunately, so it is going to be a surprise to see what this team is bringing out. But I do believe that this is an actual team. This is not a pickup, also. So that
oh,
more,
could the chemistry factor come into play there? If they've
yeah, that
played with
teamwork
each
and
other for
everything
a
like
long
that
time, will they have more cohesion,
eventually.
more special kind of, you know, a way to work off of each other?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's these guys they know each other. They are ready. They've came out of the woodworks with each other, getting into our first game here, bringing out the Zimmy from Gucci Flip Flops. Very surprising, in my opinion. I was not ready for it. As we see once again, silly name bringing out the comp they ran last game, going into it, trying to give that hyper offense. Unfortunately, not able to take the zone this time. As we see the Blapples on right, trying to find something, trying to make it work, unable to get a pick on the bucket. Fortunately enough, the pencil is able to help clean them up as we see two members of Gucci Flip Flops go down with Cooler online for them, able to find a stack. As we see both teams lose all their members, but the pencil's trying to hold their stacks, fighting it out as they just trade one after the other. Both teams going splashing ink left and right. Look away for 1 second. Now it's orange. Look away for a second. It's blue again. Both teams just trading left and right as it
This
looks
match
like
is
Gucci
a
Flip Flop is able to win the trade off at mid here.
uh yeah, this match opened off as a literal bloodbath here. As the strikes come out online now. for Cillian for now as they try to regain, but they can't hold it. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with disadvantage. We haven't seen them have to deal with that too much, so we'll see if they can kind of just lock in here and retake, get a few picks. As the zone it just stays in neutral here, as Cillian finally gets the retake, but that pencil is just doing serious damage, comboed with the strikes, as strikes come out as well for Cillian, trying to once again regain and retake. Dread doing a really good job of holding onto that left stack, and that's one thing I've been meaning to point out, is that both teams have been really good at holding their own stacks, not letting the opposition team push in too much, as 2 go down here for Gucci flip-flops, and Cillian once again getting that penalty count down for the counts.
And we're finally able to see them break through that penalty once again, trying to put a couple points on the board, but they have a minute, they have a little bit of time to go. Unfortunately, with only that dread in mid, it's not enough, as we see them get the quick flip, giving them another penalty, forcing them to deal with it again. Able to pop these strikes, not able to get too much off of it. Two members of Gucci flip-flops do go down. We see a third member going down. Blaster going in on the Blapples once again, able to help out, get that zone painted with the slider ready, trying to cause some mayhem, unfortunately going down to the bomb here, as we see them taking over that stack once again. But the T-Tech are ready to help out, getting that pick there, trying to not let them have too much as we control their stack there. Unfortunately, losing that zone once again. Gucci flip-flop just able to do a lot of controlling, a lot of paint on their side, and it is working out for them as we see the strikes get popped once again, trying to contest that zone, force them off, and try and get a bit of a pincer as we see the T-Tech going from behind, unfortunately going down to the bucket. But it was enough for Cillian to push in and take over that lead, take over that zone, and get on them cleared off of that stack, giving them more time to control the stack here, as we see both of these teams just trying to find a bit of a hold, unable to find it.
Yeah, a bit of a soft wipe there for Gucci flip-flops, and Cillian now able to take that space and get that aggression out that they've so been desiring to do. We saw that T10 just causing absolute chaos around that left stack, and just, you know, kind of get them to look away from the zone so they could kind of hold it for a little longer, as they now get that penalty counting down, sorry, for Cillian.
Not only did Cillian need to break through that penalty earlier, though, they were able to break the lead as well, taking it for themselves, as we see them going in, going deep right here, trying to find a couple more picks with that cooler, just all coolered up, wanting to push in, wanting to cause mayhem, cause trouble, being a bit of a nuisance. You see that Dread, you see that T-Tech going and able to find a pick on that Zukas, denying them any more shots. Unfortunately, the strikes was enough to contest that zone, allowing them to come in, paint it up, and get it cleared up for them to start pushing in, especially with that bubble getting popped by that Zemi right there. As we see both teams just trying to fight it out with only 40 seconds left on the clock right here. It is going to be a struggle to see if they're able to break through this lead. Once again, only needing a couple more points to secure a lead here, which would force Cillian to get back on the aggression with only 2 ticks remaining. They're able to stop the lead and give them the penalty with only 30 seconds left, pushing them back into the hot seat here. We see Gucci flip-flops only having 20 seconds left, forced to find a last-minute wipe, find a last-minute push that they need in order to secure this Game 1 victory here. But with the slider behind them, it is not enough. There's too much going on in the backlines. Blasters going and getting a pick, being a nuisance, causing trouble. And that is enough trouble to not only let them break through the penalty, but keep it going, making them have an even harder battle uphill if they're able to find the last second flip, but they aren't able to find it. As we see them take Game 1 in favor of Cillian.
Yeah,
What a match that was.
Gucci flops on that push. I think it was that splatter shot. I think they got a little too confident. I think that you just want to hold that stack. You just, you know, you don't want to go into that line of fire because it left them one down, and then they get an amazing double after that for Cillian. They get the triple, able to retake, and able to not only get rid of the penalty, but extend their lead so that even if Gucci flip-flop did somehow cap at that last second there, it was going to be a very, very tough uphill battle. And I was wondering at the start of this match how Cillian was going to handle disadvantage, and they handled it pretty solidly. And if I'm Cillian for now, I'm through the roof. I'm saying we've had our last couple sets have been amazing. Let's keep this run going. They are on a hot streak right now.
They are definitely riding the momentum of all the victories they've had, but it doesn't look like Gucci Flip Flops is going to take it that easily. We saw how much of a struggle it was for them to be able to get in there and actually take that lead there. For most of that game, it was in favor of Gucci Flip Flop. I believe only after the half minute mark was Silly Name able to finally take the lead and start putting some pressure on them to start scoring once again. But as you said, that hot streak right there is that momentum can be all it needs for a team to just have the momentum, the morale boost they need to keep on playing better than they've played
If
before.
if I'm a silly name right now, I have a feeling that I can't lose. I want to go to Vegas and win 1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I
That
know
is
exactly what you're
how
saying.
much of a hot streak I reckon they feel they're on right now. But again, yeah, like you said, Gucci Flip Flops not going down without any sort of a fight. They took it to the wire that game one, and I am ecstatic for game two to start here.
Oh no, I'm visibly on the edge of my seat right here, just like trying to hold out. Just watching that game play out was so intense because it really could have gone either way at that end there. We saw the bubble getting popped. We saw them pushing up, and they were able to take the zone away from Silly Name. It was just a little bit too late, and the game didn't want to count that as overtime,
Just that
unfortunately.
you know that
Yeah.
half second of latency
Hmm.
that cost them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. We've all been there. But here we go. Game two, crab leg.
Getting into this crab leg game here, we see both teams bringing out both team, or rather, Silly Name bringing out a very similar comp that we saw earlier, as we see Gucci Flip Flops bringing out one of the standard comps ever, bringing out your pencil, your shot, your bucket, and your sword. I always love to see a good sword here, especially getting into this match here. We see Gucci Flip Flops able to get an early push on that zone, getting a couple points online, but it is just not enough, as we see contested by Silly Name, able to take that lead back there. Both these teams just fighting it out at mid, trying to find something, trying to make it happen. As we see Azuka get popped, able to get a couple picks, but Silly Name able to retaliate with their own slider, able to get 3 down and push up off of that, giving them cooler, getting them a lot of space here as we see them go in with their lead, not going to give it up too easily, getting already pushing almost 30 points online as we see the Zuka online able to push a couple people out as Silly Name unfortunately does go 2 down and lose that zone there, but with already a pretty good push and with only 1 minute online and pushing 40, continuing it going, we're seeing this explosive gameplay from them come out once again as we see a wipe in favor of Silly Name happen. Oh my.
Yes, Gucci Flip Flop needs to they need to try and slow this game down a bit, but I honestly don't think it's possible against this just lightning quick team of how they want to play, how they want to move forward. They've been trying to put out specials, and they have done, but they just haven't been able to get the picks that they need. Strikes come out, but it's just not enough. It doesn't even get close to flipping the zone at all. You see the shot diving in there is a last gasp hope, but that's going to be game two said and done for Silly Name for now. Gucci Flip Flops going up against it this set, unfortunately.
I have no words. I have nothing to say. It was just this is what Silly Name
Very.
did 3 games ago. They're doing it again. They locked in. They said, "We want to win this. We're gonna go
Again,
win."
it's as if they were toying with their food. As you know, we'll take it light game one. And game two, bam, out the way. Like what am I witnessing? What am I watching?
Oh, well, you see, the Black Wolves were in this game, so you knew they were going in and they were gonna hold. They were holding on tight. They were not letting go. They were holding on like you're dangling over Niagara Falls. Not gonna let you slide off at all. Not gonna slip. Nothing. They didn't even a little bit in the beginning, but they didn't want to slip up at all and just hold that game and keep it going as we saw them do theirs.
I
In
think
Gucci Flip Flops on the hot seat now, up for elimination here
I know what I
as they
want. I'm not sure about you, but I want Gucci Flip Flops to just make everybody surprised. I want Gucci Flip Flops to
if Gucci
somehow
Flip Flops can
just squeeze out these
completely
next
bring out
couple
the
wins.
reverse 3 sweep, and
I want to
I
see
would
a game
be
five.
very I would love to see a game 5 too. I always love seeing sets go to game 5 because that's when you know you have a really good set. You know you have a really good seeding right there because both these teams are so well matched against each other. They're going head to head, clashing, and you can't tell which team is going to take it right here. But
No.
with it being
I
in
wouldn't
favor
be
of Silly
surprised if
Name,
Gucci Flip Flops just comes out and does what Silly Name just did to them from, game 2. I wouldn't be amazed if that was game 3 right now. This could go either way.
it definitely could be because as was mentioned earlier, Gucci Flip Flops is our seed 1. They might have been a little overconfident, feeling a little overzealous, if you will, going into the set here, being like, "Oh, that's really weird. A seed 20 up here. We're gonna just knock them out real quick." And no, that overconfidence might have been their downfall here if they were feeling that way. But that is for Gucci Flip Flops to know and for us to see as we get into our game 3 here shortly. Getting on zone ship shape, we saw Silly Name kind of struggling on this one earlier, but I do believe that's the game that had a DC, so it might be up in the air if they're able to play on it even better,
No,
having all their numbers.
I believe that was Umami Zones where they had the
Mm.
DC. Either way, game 3, here we go.
As
It
we
was
see
Killer
both
Bomb
these
from Silly Name, yeah.
once again, seeing Silly Name bring out the Blapples once again, feeling a little silly, if you will, as Gucci Flip Flops brings out their tried and true Zimmy, gonna make it work, not gonna let anything stop them. As we see Silly Name able to push up, get a couple picks online, giving them the early lead as they go in and start getting this really aggressive hold that they've been showing how much they're known for.
Yeah, really early couple picks for Silly Name. Gucci Flip Flops going 2 down really early, but gets a nice quick retake, not allowing Silly Name to get too much of a lead too early on, which is what they want. I think they need to take this in long game. I think what Gucci Flip Flop needs is for Silly Name to get overconfident and maybe feed in a little too much and maybe play too aggressively. I think that's what you're looking for if you're Gucci Flip Flops, but that's not the case right now as they hold this zone nice and tight. 3 going down for Gucci Flip Flops, all on respawn as Silly Name just holding that space and again just keeping up that aggression just non-stop, as we keep saying. This team is absolutely relentless.
Yeah, no, they're just keeping it going. They're popping their strikes. They're not gonna let them get in. Keeping up so much aggression, even the pencils being aggressive, as you see Silly Name able to play. But it looks like Gucci Flip Flops is able to kind of turn it around, get that bubble up, take the zone for themselves as they push in, able to get a couple picks online,
There you
taking
go.
3 down, trying to find that last one, trying to get that pencil pushed out, forcing them to jump off, getting them what is essentially a wipe there, but with still having a lot of cooler charge for that pencil. It won't be long before we see Silly Name able to push back in, even with their pencil online, the Zuka out, trying to find a couple picks to slide. Rather, the wave breakers already popped, forcing Gucci Flip Flops rather to kind of back up as we see Silly Name push up, methodically taking them one down after the other, not going to give up anything as they pop their strikes, keeping it going, trying to get this lead here, able to put a bubble on that zone, want to keep it
Oh,
going,
the
but the
reslider
slider is there
behind.
to
No one
stop the
caught the
main.
reslider from behind. That's really unfortunate for Gucci Flip Flops as 3 go down. That was a really smart reslider play. Gucci Flip Flops got caught on trying to get a pick on the Dread, and just that the Dapple's just sneaking in behind with the reslider, allowing to just claw onto this lead for Silly Name.
Yeah, Silly Name does not want to give up that lead. Unfortunately, going down to that Zuka shot we saw back there. Just a magical shot from the heavens descending on that pencil right there. Able to force them out, trying to be very disruptive, but the Blapples being disruptive of themselves, forcing their own pencil to back out, not going to allow them to get in as they only have 5 ticks left. With the slider out, it looks like the Silly Name is going to take a game 3 sweep here in their favor. Not going to let Gucci Flip Flops have any sort of say into the set here.
I must say that is a little disappointed. If you're Gucci Flip Flops, you're a little disappointed there. It was close. Again, it's just Silly Name just piling on that aggression, and that reef is what saved them the game from behind to cap that zone. As they kind of just Gucci Flip Flops kind of just got caught and trying to get a couple picks instead of maybe focusing the pain on the zone, which is what they needed to just, even if it's just for a point, to get that lead. And it's disappointing after how close game 1 was to just see them go thrill here, but nevertheless, they were very good games, very entertaining, and silly name again, just on that hog streak, just feeling unstoppable right now. It is going to take an absolute titan to stop these guys.
And a Titan they're about to be facing going into gold finals here. They're gonna be facing off against Hoot Hoot Recruit, who has
Oh,
also been on a bit of a hot streak, only having dropped one game so far the entire tournament. And that last game, the last game they dropped was against Hogluck, who we saw earlier. So that tells you enough about this team right here already. And what is going to be happening? They haven't lost since groups. They have been just running it down, not taking any L's so far. So it is going to be seeing two titans of the Blitzit just going after each other. We'll see which team is able to win it out.
I am looking forward to it. We saw Hoot Hoot earlier. They played very well. Very well. This should be a set for the ages. I hope I'm not commentating cursing it, but I'm ready for war. I'm ready for just absolute chaos. I'm ready for
Or,
trades and just oh, I'm ready for it. I cannot wait for this final set here.
oh no, I can't wait either. And as you mentioned, the commentator's curse, but to mention the commentator's curse isn't of itself to curse the commentator's curse. So now it's truly up in the air if it will be a sweep from either of these teams or if we're going to see a game five situation happen. But either way, I just cannot wait to get into the set here, which I do believe will be starting in just a little bit, folks. Not too long of a wait. See, but I am really interested in Hoot Hoot Recruit here. Just as I mentioned earlier.